So the UFC's heavyweight division is in a little bit of a rut because Daniel Cormier just beat Derek Lewis for the heavyweight championship. And we have Brock Lesnar kind of lingering around, not knowing if he is going to fight in the UFC. He just signed a WWE contract extension. Will we ever see him compete again? Daniel Cormier versus Brock Lesnar. What will USADA do? Probably just let him slide, as they always seem to do. But it leaves a lot of, very, very skillful heavyweights kind of just waiting. And one of those heavyweights I'm talking about is former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. He's 36 years old. And if you look at his record, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, he holds the record for most successful heavyweight defenses in the UFC, which is 3. He defended his title against Alistair Overeem. He beat Junior Dos Santos in a rematch, and he defended against Francis Ngannou. But when it came against DC, he got caught and knocked out. Which, not pegging anything on DC, arguably I think he's one of the greatest of all time. But that leaves a question, who will Stipe Miocic fight next? You look at his career statistics, very good. His win column, extraordinary. I mean, just because he is the current holder of the record for most successful heavyweight defenses, I would say he's a Hall of Fame to be. I don't even care about Brock Lesnar. I'm talking actual athletes. And another rumor that's kind of been circling around for a couple days is the return of Cain Velasquez. Now, Cain Velasquez has been kind of MIA for 2 years, and the reason is because of his injuries. Cain, also 36 years old, has fought tons and tons of back injuries. And for those who may be unaware, or let me just remind you, Cain Velasquez is the former heavyweight champion of the world. He had some of the greatest fights in the heavyweight division. Brown Pride. The rumor circling his return has been kind of picking up some steam for the last 5 days. And what has been kind of coming to fruition, just circling, right? This is just some news outlets over at the States, some news outlets on Instagram, some news outlets on Reddit. So just take this with a grain of salt. But a rumored fight that will obviously go down 2019 involves both of these gentlemen. I'm talking about Stipe Miocic will return from his loss to Daniel Cormier to fight Cain Velasquez in a return from his, long layoff from the octagon. Now let's just talk about this briefly, because this is, nothing has happened yet. This is all just speculation. But if it does, we get one hell of a fight. Cain Velasquez, 14-2, 36 years old. Obviously, that back injury, never going to go away. He's never going to be 100%, especially not after the decorated UFC career that he has. I mean, just look at this. 2 fights, and he got into the UFC, and he went on a tear, a complete tear, beating Brock Lesnar, and then losing to Junior Dos Santos, and then getting back with 4 consecutive victories until he got caught by Fabricio Verdum. And even then, afterwards, he came back and he knocked out Travis Brown. His fight metric statistics, I mean, this guy is just, what can you say? If you look at his takedown average, he is able to land 5 takedowns in 15 minutes. Legends right here. His accuracy is 45%, which is pretty remarkable considering it's the heavyweight division. Takedown defense, 85%. I am pretty sure, considering fighters who have more than 5 fights, he has the highest takedown defense in all of the UFC. And he's no slouch in the striking department either. You look at it, strikes landed per minute, 6.38 significant strikes landed per minute. That's incredible, because if you forget, Cain Velasquez is a wrestler. Trains out of AKA under Javier Mendez, with DC, with Khabib, those monsters. Going from a wrestler to a striker, it seems that's what AKA is able to do. Striking accuracy, almost 60%, with his striking defense at 57%. And his significant strikes absorbed, 2.29. That is a little bit just a little bit on the higher side, but nevertheless, and it's a little bit actually kind of going on that at 2.29, the strikes absorbed per minute. That is kind of a big deal if you think about it, because heavyweights, it only takes 1 shot to knock you out. Especially if you look at his opponent, or his rumored opponent, Stipe Miocic. He lands 4.76 significant strikes a minute. His accuracy is 51%. He takes more damage actually than Cain Velasquez, almost absorbing 3 significant strikes per minute. And his striking defense is 62%. Now, his takedown averaged 2.38, right? We saw a little bit of his takedown in his Francis Ngannou fight. He has some decent wrestling, but obviously Stipe is known as a striker. His takedown defense, 75%. Now, I'm bringing up that factor because against Cain Velasquez, Cain is going to probably want to try and take this fight to the ground, especially because he knows Stipe is one of the best heavyweight strikers of all time. And considering the fact that Cain will be returning from a very hefty layoff, so you know that rust, that anxiety, that nervousness will play into a factor, and being a little bit more precautious and securing a takedown can help his chances of not only reducing the amount of damage he takes, but also increasing his chances of potentially getting a victory over Stipe. But with Stipe, you look at the stats, 4.76 significant strikes landed versus that 6.38. That doesn't mean that Cain Velasquez is a better striker, but Cain Velasquez striking is very good. We saw that in display against the second Junior Dos Santos fight. We saw that in display against the Antonio Silva fight. Hell, we saw that in all the Junior Dos Santos fight except the first one when he got caught early on. But even the Fabricio Verdum fight, even though Fabricio Verdum looked very good, we saw some very good striking from Cain Velasquez in all of his fights, you know. He is a wrestler, but he doesn't rely on his wrestling to get his victories. He can knock you out. His striking statistics, you know, arguably are better than Stipe Miocic's striking statistics. So that goes to show that Cain is no slouch. And for those who forget, you know, Cain's one of the best wrestlers. He has the best cardio of any heavyweight, period. And he's just a monster. But you know, Stipe, after that loss to Daniel Cormier that broke his, you know, beautiful 6-fight win streak here, his 3 title defenses against the best of the best, he's hungry. He wants to come back in there. He wants to expand his record from 18-3 to 19-3. But that is all just a rumor. That is not very even, you know, no major news outlet has broke that. But that is some, you know, speculation going around. If you do recall, this fight was actually supposed to go down in UFC 220. There was a little bit of a more elevated rumor cycle going on there. But I think this fight could make sense. Cain Velasquez prepping for his return. Stipe Miocic is just kind of left in the dark right now while the heavyweight division moves on with Daniel Cormier and maybe Brock Lesnar or Daniel Cormier versus John Jones. But I'll leave this to you. What do you guys think of this potential match? Is this something that you would be interested in seeing? Do you think Stipe Miocic would have the upper hand over Cain Velasquez if he was to return? Or do you think Cain Velasquez will show Stipe that, you know, you may have ran a division, but that was during my 2-year layoff? I'm curious to know what you guys have to say about this fight. Make sure to leave your comments in this section below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know what you think of the channel. If you hate it, let us know. We want to improve. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.